welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. So, today, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about toxic people, toxic people relationships, right? And I think this conversation is necessary and it needs to be, it needs to be discussed and it needs to be verbalized. And, this is a conversation that we need to have. So, I'm going to give a few people time to come in while I get myself together, right? While I get myself together here, I got my water. I'm sitting in the car because it's quiet here. I have my kids in the house and it's a little noisy. So I had to come out here and just, I had to come out here and be, oh, hello, Indigo. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Hello, Coach Monique. I'm Coach Monique as well. How are you doing? So, I just wanted to come in here and have a conversation. My channel responsibility is all about, teaching women, right? And I'm a woman, so that's all I can relate to is women. So it's teaching women how to take responsibility for their happiness, their success, and their freedom. Because oftentimes as women, we get so caught up, and because it's in our nature to be nurturing. It's in our nature to care. Not all women, but the majority, right? We just have this nurturing and caring nature that we just sometimes forget about ourselves. We try to make everyone around us happy, and we do all these external things, right? We do all these external things and forget about the internal, right? So I just want to come talk about, you see the topic, right? Toxic people and relationships. And hopefully I don't be here no more than 30 minutes. I try not to come and be too long-winded, but it's in my nature. It's in my gifting. When I go to talking, I just go from 0 to 100 quick. And, what I want to talk about is, and I was trying to give a few more people to come in. It's sunny out here. I have on my shades because I'm in my car, and the sun on the dashboard is shining so bright. It's just radiating, right? It's radiating so bright. It's like directly in my eyes over here on this side. You can't see it, but it's like a heat or like a reflection just into my face, right? But what I want to talk about is toxic people and relationships. And let me tell you about how these people work. When you're dealing with a toxic, their goal is to kill, steal, and destroy. Right? The devil. Toxic people, not really to, view, but if they see that you're happy, they see that you're a naturally jolly person, they are going to make sure they create chaos in your life. That's their goal. Their goal is to kill, as I've stated, steal, and destroy. They would destroy anything that is associated with their target, if you allow them. Now, you don't have to sit and bow down, but one thing about these toxic people, they're very, just like we have the ones who are empathetic, just like we have intuition and gut feelings, they have the same thing too. They're more manipulative. They know how to manipulate, and they know how to project, and they know how to get people to side with them. They know how to do all these manipulating tactics to destroy, right? To destroy their target. But what I wanted to come talk about is these toxic people, They are very aware. They're very manipulative, and they're very they do have foresight. They have foresight. They could look and see, just like you can look and see, they can look and see how they can make their move in the near future. They're so intelligent that they plant seeds early on. They plant seeds early on to get what they want later. That's how manipulative they are. Their spirits are so manipulative, they groom certain people, right? They groom certain people to take their sides later on, right? They groom certain people to side with them. They live for toxicity and chaos and confusion. They live for it. They thrive off of it. That dark energy thrives off negativity. They thrive off someone dying, and they thrive off someone going through a hard time. Right? They thrive off of that. And when you realize these people are that way, the best thing to do is to cut your losses. Cut all ties with them. Because if you don't cut ties with these toxic individuals, they are going to make your entire life a living hell. They're going to destroy relationships that you have with your children. They're going to destroy relationships that you have with your spouse. They're going to destroy relationships that you have with your friends. They're going to destroy relationships that you have with church members, because this energy is so demonic and toxic. They thrive and feed off of negativity. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They thrive off of it. They thrive off of it. Just like some people thrive off good energy and thrive, because I know I do. I thrive off of good energy, good vibes, positivity. I thrive off of this stuff. Affirmations and, good music to listen to, good podcasts to listen to, good motivational messages. I thrive in that area. The same way I thrive in negativity, in positivity, these toxic individuals thrive in negativity. They thrive in darkness. They thrive in death. They thrive in dysfunction. They thrive in gossip. And they will use the very thing that they thrive in to destroy every relationship that their target has. They will destroy every relationship because they are so miserable, and the only thing they know is toxicity. That's the only thing they know. And they look forward to making your life miserable. They look forward to making your life a living HE double hockey stick. They look forward to it. Any person you're connected with, any person that you enjoy being around, they look forward to spewing their venom in that relationship. They look forward to, severing the ties you have with your children, your adult children. Because sometimes they can get to your younger children. They can. But with younger children are so intuitive. They're so spiritual. They're connected mostly to God. They can kind of feel certain things. But with them adults, they thrive. They thrive off getting in the heads of your adult children. They thrive in getting in the heads of your friends and people who are around you with lies. They love projection. Hi, Rubia. They love projection. They will project their insecurities onto the people who you are connected with. They will project their insecurities. They will project their opinions, their thoughts onto these spirits. Toxicity, these toxic spirits, they're very powerful. Not as powerful as God, but they are very powerful if you don't know what you're working with. They will project, they will project some things on people and have people believing those things. And those people will start feeling a certain way about you. You will feel the energy shift in people when they come around. I know I can. I know I was able to. You could feel that the energy has changed. You can feel the energy changing with your children. You can feel the energy changing with your friends. You can feel the energy changing with your coworkers. You can feel that energy. And it's because of projection. It's because of lies. Welcome to the first time listeners. Welcome. You're welcome to be here in my presence. You're welcome to interact. You're welcome to join. You're just welcome to just be here on this live. You're welcome. Feel free to chat, to chime in. But as I was saying, you can feel that. And you can't ignore that. You know, I used to be that way. I've been a feeler for years, right? I've been like that all my life since I was a child. And I have some stories about that later, but since I was a child. But when you're broken and when you have experienced so much trauma because of who you are and your purpose here on earth, you tend to not believe what you feel because we were not taught. We were not taught that. We were taught to believe everyone and everybody else outside of us. But we were not taught to be in tune with our gut feeling, our intuition. I say it's the GPS. That's your God placement system. We were not taught to be in tune with that. Right? We were taught to watch what people do. Right? We were taught to be in tune with what people tell us out of their mouth, what we hear. We were not taught to be in tune with, oh, this don't make me feel. Oh, I just came around this person and I felt totally off balance. We were not taught to listen to that. I listen to it now more than ever. That's what guides me. I don't care how it looks. If I feel a person's not right, I'm going with what I feel. I don't care how they come nice and charming. Oh, so sweet. When my gut tells me something's not right, I listen to my gut now. Before, I didn't listen to that because I didn't know. I had to be taught how to listen to it and believe and trust it. Because 9 times out of 10, that gut feeling, I'll say 99.9%, it will never steer you wrong. I know for me, I never was steered wrong by my gut feeling. I don't care how a person comes around and presents themselves. They can present themselves as they are, I'm trying to watch my words here on YouTube, as if they're just so angelic. But if my spirit says, alert, alert, oh, I'm all ears, all alert. And I know I keep my distance from these type of people, right? I listen to myself, and you have to listen to yourself. You have to be in tune with your GPS, and don't let nobody steer you no other way. I don't care if that's just like when I'm talking about these toxic people in relationships. You can be okay with the person, right? Or somebody that you love could be head over heels and in good graces with the person. But when they come around you, your GPS is on 10. You're like, no, something's not right. And that doesn't mean that person is a bad person to the person you're connected to. But as far as you go, that's not a good connect for you. It's not a good connect for you. But I wanted to make the point of listen to your GPS. Listen to that. But when it comes to these toxic people in relationships, they will destroy anything in their target's path. If they got a if they got if they got a problem with you, they're going to have a problem with anything that you're connected to. And they're going to go out of their way to destroy everything that's connected to you. They're going to tell all sorts of lies to destroy what is connected to you. They'll take a misunderstanding up to the point that you and the person fall out over a misunderstanding, over miscommunication. Oh, they love miscommunication. Oh, they love it. They love miscommunication. They love confusion. They thrive in that area. Confusion and miscommunication. That is their, oh, they transform the most in that. I think my connection is going bad, but we're going to keep on. Can you all hear me still? Can you all hear me? I see my timer is going, but I don't know if you can hear me. Just let me know. Put up a thumbs up if you can hear me still. Oh, thank you, Rubia. Thank you so much. But what I was saying, that entity, that spirit, they thrive on just destruction. Have you ever been around people and they live, thank you so much, and they live for destruction? They love negativity. They target you and destroy your relationships. That's how they destroy relationships. They destroy relationships with their children. They destroy relationships with their grandchildren. They destroy relationships with people in the church, people in anything that they come in contact with. They destroy relationships. They'll destroy the relationships of their target person. If a toxic person, they have a falling out with you, or they just want to come against you for whatever reason, you best believe they're in the background destroying relationships. You best believe they're in that background telling lies. You best believe they're in that background planting seeds. They're in that background planting seeds of destruction, planting seeds of confusion, planting lies, right? They're in the background. They're in the background lying on you. They got a whole blown out, all out smear campaign against you. And you have no idea. You have no idea what's going on. Only the people who are in tune, with their Heavenly Father, God will send you a dream. He'll send you a person. He'll send you some awareness or some notice to let you know what's going on in the spirit realm. He'll send you a notice, right? He'll send you something. But for the ones who are not connected, you will have no idea that this toxicity is going on. That the smear campaign is going on. You have no idea. Right? You have no idea it's going on. You just know people start acting funny with you. You get the cold shoulder from certain people. Now, they haven't had a conversation with you. They haven't come to you and had a conversation and asked you if what is being said is true. And the reason they don't is because that person who they're talking to, their allegiance is not to you. Their allegiance is to that toxic individual. So they're not going to go and come to you. They're not going to talk to you and ask you what's going on and have a conversation. They're going to assume that it's true, that what's being said is true. Right? Oh, believe it, Booker. If you have that alarm that's going off, believe it. Somebody's in the background. Somebody's in the background spewing out lies. And that's why I always have my prayer, Lord, remove anyone who's around me that don't mean me well. And trust me, he has done just that. He has done just that because you don't know people true intent in their heart about you. You don't know until you have a disagreement or something. You don't know their true intent. I got to put back on my shades because the sun on came back out. You don't know their true intent about you. Yes, that's the Leviathan spirit. Yes, it is, Carolyn. I know all about that spirit. Yes, it is. You don't know their true intent. People will be in relationships and in friendships, family ships for years, never had a problem, never had a disagreement to where there is a fallout. But as soon as you have a disagreement about something or about how you handle a certain situation with an individual, now all of a sudden, oh, they just hate your guts. No, they've been feeling that way about you. That's nothing new. That's been the intent in their hearts towards you. But you cannot see it because you are not looking at it from the lens they're looking at it. And don't let you not agree on certain causes. If you don't have the same agreement on certain causes, they don't know how to separate the disagreement on the cause from who you are. Oh yeah, their true colors come out for real. They don't know how to separate the two things. They'll destroy an entire relationship. This toxic people now. They'll come against and destroy entire relationships based on you not agreeing on certain causes. You not having an agreeing on certain things. Oh, they'll take that and they'll run with it. They'll take it and make it seem like you hate the person because you don't agree to what they agree to. Only healthy people understands that we don't have to agree on things, but I still love you. Only healthy people get that. Toxic people believe that if you don't agree that we don't like bananas, right? If we don't agree together, like I could hate bananas, you hate bananas. But because they like bananas and you hate bananas, oh, they hate you now. They don't know how to, toxic people don't know how to divide the fact that, oh, she just don't like bananas, but I like bananas. But we still can have a good relationship. Oh, they don't know how to do that. If you hate bananas and they like bananas, or if they like bananas and you hate bananas, oh, you're an enemy. You're an enemy in that toxic person's life. You are all out enemy because y'all don't like bananas, because you guys disagree on not liking bananas, or one person like it or the other person don't. You their enemy. The way they see the world is so negative and toxic. It's hard for you to even have a discussion with these people. That's why you can't be around them. Because no matter what you do, your good intentions and their negative perspective will not agree. Yes, they call it judgment. Instead of, they bunch everything together. They'll bunch all these different things together when you don't agree on something. Just like I was using the bananas. If you don't like bananas, they'll come in and bring in everything else. They'll attach everything else to that one thing you don't like. And they'll attach everything else to I don't like bananas. They're so pitiful. They are really miserable, pitiful souls. And with these people, it is hard for you to be hard. It is hard for you to stay angry at them. It is hard for you to stay angry at them. Now, you don't stay connected. I'm not telling you to do that foolishness. You do not stay connected. You better run as far as the east is to the west. You better run and get away from these souls because they're miserable. And when you connect it to people, have you ever noticed? Let me tell you something. Have you ever noticed before you came into understanding and before you came into the knowledge of the person was just a toxic individual? Before you came into the knowledge, have you ever noticed that you never could get anywhere in life by being associated with them. You never could get anywhere in life. That toxic person have such an impact on you that you can't really nourish good relationships outside of them, because that energy that they bring is so toxic, it drains you. It drains your very being. It drains who you are as a person. You walked into that thing vibrant. You walked into that thing upbeat. You walked into that thing vibrant, upbeat, bubbly. You loved people. You were outgoing. Right? In a relationship, not romantically. You walked into that thing just vibrant, upbeat. But by the time you left that toxic situation, you were a shell of yourself. You didn't know who you were. You ask yourself, how did I get here? Oh, yes. They would never, and with toxic people, they would never admit to their wrongs. They would never see things from a way that is beneficial to come into a good understanding, like good, like a mutual agreement. Oh, they'll never see it like that. They could never put themselves in your shoes and see things from how they would see it. With a toxic person, they don't have the ability to do that. Everything is just black and white. There's no gray area with them. There's no understanding. It's their way or the highway. They're always right. It's hard to come to a consensus with these people. They want to control. They want to dominate. They want to rule and reign. If they can't control, dominate, rule, reign, manipulate, they don't want to have anything to, I won't say do with you, because they want to have something to do with you, but they don't hear you. I'll say that. They don't hear you. They don't hear you at all. And in a toxic person, narcissism, yeah, you can't put that in here. You can put that in here too. That's a whole nother level. That's a whole nother level too. But if they can't rule, reign, dominate, control, oh, you best believe they're out to destroy every relationship. They're out to destroy every relationship that you find joy being around, every relationship that you have good graces with. Oh, you best believe they're looking for a way to destroy in the future. They're already so manipulative and toxic and dark. They're looking for a way that they can creep in them relationships. They're looking for a way that they can creep in. They're looking for a lie to tell the people that you're in good relationships with. They're looking for a way to tell a lie that's going to cause you to destroy, that's going to cause destruction in the relationships that you have. That's how toxic they are. And with toxic people, they don't know how to say, you know what? When that person was 14, this how toxic and unforgiving they are. And it's not funny, but you're going to attest to this. They don't know how to say that person did that when they was 14 years old, or that person did that when they were 17 or 18 or 19 or 25, they don't know how to say that person did it when they were younger, when they didn't know any better. Or with a toxic person, oh, they going back to when you was a newborn. You didn't even know better. You are a baby. And you pouted on them when you were a baby. You know, when they took off your diaper, you shot one out on them. They gonna hold that against you. They gonna hold that against you. They gonna use, and especially them toxic and them toxic parents. Oh, they gonna make you responsible for being their mother, and you didn't ask to be here. Them toxic parents gonna hold everything they ever did to you over your head from when the time you were in the womb. They gonna say, when you were in my stomach, you wanted Cheerios, and I had to eat Cheerios, so you got to pay me for that. You gonna ever be held. You gonna forever be held accountable for your cravings when you were pregnant with them. For their cravings. I'm sorry, but they gonna hold you accountable. That's how toxic they are. That's how toxic this spirit is. They hold you, they want to hold you to a standard that they're not willing to hold themselves to. They want to hold their kids to a standard that they're not willing to hold themselves to. They want to hold their spouses to a standard that they're not willing to hold themselves to. That's how toxic they are. They're just toxic, and they're just out to destroy anything that's in their path. Like the little Tasmanian devil. You remember the little Tasmanian devil? You remember the little Tasmanian devil? That anything in that little whirlwind, he's destroying it. That's how it is with toxic people. Any relationship in that whirlwind, they're going to destroy it. They even destroy the relationships with their own children. Their own children can't stand their guts. And these toxic people, they will destroy relationships that their grandchildren have with their parents. They're willing to destroy anything. Yes, they never. And one thing about these toxic people, and this is a narcissist too, a narcissistic spirit, they can dish all sorts of manners of evil, toxicity, strife, anything. They can dish it out, but they cannot take it. Oh, when you give it back to them, or when you confront them, oh, it's all H-E, devil hockey stick is breaking out. Oh, they out. You're their enemy now. It's a war. No accountability. Oh, they play victim all the time. When I tell you, they will never look at their part in the situation. They would never look at the part in what they have done. Anything that I've done in my life, even with my parents being drug addicts, I still looked at myself and I took accountability. Because if you know my story, I talked about my parents and how I didn't forgive them, how I had my own art and view on that. You know, I had my own perspective. But once I became an adult, it was time for me, which I forgave my parents, by the way. It was time for me to look at me and work out my own salvation, work out my own issues, right? But with a toxic person, oh, they'll never look at what they could do to get themselves out of that. Oh, they would blame their mother. That mother been dead 20 years. That lady in the grave sleeping like this here. That lady in the grave sleeping, turned over, you know, sleeping good. And they still haven't forgiven them, their mother. They still haven't forgiven their father. They still haven't forgiven their grandparents. They still haven't forgiven what people said to them in kindergarten. When you all were just children, doing what children do, saying what children say, they will never release and forgive. They hold grudges, and that's why they're so toxic, because they're holding on to all of that baggage from way back when, right? They're holding on to every art, everything anybody have committed to them, they're holding on to it. That's why they're so dark in their energy. That's why they're so negative. They're holding on to it. They're holding on what somebody said to them in the first grade when you guys all were first graders and you do what first graders do. That's how toxic they are. They hold on to it. And they would never release. I'm so glad I got a spirit of forgiveness to release people. I'm so glad I have that spirit. I've always had that spirit. And now sometimes I may not forgive a person right then. It'll take me time. I have to process. But I'm so glad I was able to forgive people, my parents, my abuser, the person who took advantage of me when I was 14, people who betrayed me just as recent as 2020. I'm so happy I forgave them people and released them, because, oh yes, and I can admit too, I'm glad I'm that type of person. I would admit in a minute. Now I have to use discretion, because sometimes I was a person that used to overshare. You know, you can't do that. You have to be wise in what you say and how you say it nowadays, because people, them toxic spirits, oh, they will take that and use it against you. They will take your honest intentions and flip that thing like a pancake. They'll flip it like a pancake, almost baked on, almost done on one side. They will flip it and make it out of something that wasn't even intended on. Your intentions are pure, but them toxic spirits, oh, they'll take that thing and flip it. Them Tasmanian devils, they will take it and flip it and turn it into something that is not even a percent of what you intended. Oh, they're good with that destruction. Yes. That's why yes. And that's another thing. That's why I don't like text messaging, because sometimes people could perceive it in a way. I'm a phone person. I like to communicate on, let's get on the video, let's get on the phone. We're not going to duke it out over text, because you will take what I'm texting and use it into something I'm not saying. No, we're going to have a conversation. If we can't have a conversation, I don't even want to deal with it. Let me know when you're ready to talk. That's how I like to approach things. Let's get on the phone and talk about it. Let's get on FaceTime. We have FaceTime now. We have Zoom. Let's get on a Zoom call and discuss this. Let's Google Meets, anything where you're face to face, so you can see people body language, where you can see their reaction. Excuse me. Where you can see their reaction. Let's do that instead of texting, because people could take those text messages, and they have a way. Now, I'm not going to even say this because people may not even know, but they could take those text messages and make it out of something. I dropped something in my car. Make it out of something that you didn't intend to make it out of. Blow it out of proportion. Blow it out of proportion. Right? They'll blow things out of proportion. With these spirits, if you give them an inch, they're going to run a marathon. Some of you can attest to it. You give these spirits, toxic spirits, an inch, they don't ran a marathon, a triathlon. What the word is. You trying to be sincere and no, with these spirits, you can't do that. Toxic people, you cannot. The best thing to do for these souls is disconnect. And you be so much at peace. It was one person I had to disconnect myself from, because she brought nothing but toxic energy in my life. Nothing but toxic energy. And when I had enough, and when I was fed up and say enough is enough, I don't want anything to do with her, oh, my life went up. My life went up. It was like something broke off of me. It was like I was under this dark cloud. And when I disconnected myself from this person, it was like I became free. I broke free from bondage. It was like I was in a bondage because I was connected to this person. But I had to verbally say, I don't want anything else to do with you. And I don't hate the person. And that's another thing these toxic people do. Let me tell you something. I want you to look me in my eyes, and I want you to hear me. Hear me and hear me well when I say this. When you disconnect from these toxic people, they will act as if they don't know why you're disconnecting from them. They don't know that they'll act as if you haven't given them chances and opportunities to redeem themselves. They will act as if you didn't give them this chance. Or when you disconnect, you better be ready. You better be ready for war. That's why I'm glad I'm suited and booted in my Lord and Savior. That's the only way I made it. Because when you connect from these spirits, oh, you best believe they're going to send everything after you to destroy you. They're going to use everything around you to destroy you. They're going to use the cat. Your cat going to be meowing in a different way. You better hear me and hear me well, if you know what I mean. You better hear me, and I mean this. This spirit, this toxicity, there's a spiritual implication tied, right, to this entity. I'm gonna call it an entity because that's what it is, a spirit. There is so much connected to that dark energy. When I tell you, when I disconnected, it was like I spiritually elevated to a different realm. I'm gonna be honest with you. Spiritually, I went to a different realm and spirit because that spirit was so oppressing over me. It was sitting on me. And you know it was sitting because the person didn't have to be around. And I still felt like I was being oppressed because of my connection, because of me not saying, you know what, I don't want to have anything to do with you again. Oh, the lies went on 10-10. I mean, the lies was on 10-10. The lies, the smear campaign, but that's okay because I know where it's coming from. I know, see, that spirit has no control over me like it used to have. And when I'm going to tell you something, when you connected to these spirits, and if you're connected to people they're connected to, you're going to have to let them people go. You're going to have to let them go. I don't care if it's your child. You have to let that child go. Because that spirit has a direct connection to you still through that person. And they will use that person against you. They will use that person to destroy the relationships. And that's how they do it. That's one of the ways they do it. So you have to be willing to let that person go. I know you love that person. You don't want to let them go. You don't want to let them go. That's your child. You love your child. You don't want nothing to happen. You don't want that relationship to be, destroyed because of them. But let me tell you something. As long as that child is connected to them, you're going to have to let that child go. Because if you don't let that child go, that child going to be your destruction. That child is going to be your demise. And I'm not saying, and this for your adult children. I'm not saying for people who understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying this till you just cut your child off. This for people who understand and who resonate with what I'm talking about. You don't have to hate that child. You don't have to, be nasty with that child. You still can talk to them, but you know that energy and that energy you usually would put into them, you can't put that energy into that child like that. You got to see that thing have to be surface. The love is deep, but the relationship is surface. That relationship has to be surface with that child. You have to watch what you say because that child will be used to monitor you. Your every move, your actions, what you're doing, what you're up to. Oh, that child will be used as a monitoring spirit. It would be used to monitor you, to take back information to that person you have just disconnected with or you don't want to deal with. It will use it. The spirit is toxic. But when you find your joy and when you find your peace in who God has made you to be, and when you know your identity in Christ, and when you know where you stand, there is no toxic person in earth that can make you bow make you fold. Your block game and your delete game will be on point. And another thing these toxic spirits will do, and I want you to hear me and hear me well. Hear me now and listen. These toxic spirits will use religion against you. They won't use your relationship with God. They won't use that. They will use religion against you to keep you bound to them, to keep you bonded to them, to keep you connected to them. They'll tell you, oh, you don't supposed to act like that. You don't supposed to be like this. You don't supposed to. No, I don't supposed to. You're right. I don't supposed to. This is what I'm going to do. Delete. This is what I'm going to do. Blocked. And you can take that to the bank. Blocked. And I'll pray for you over there. I'm going to keep you in prayer. Matter of fact, I'm going to go and pray tonight. And go to God and ask God to help me to release this spirit here. Help me to release this person. Help me to forgive them, Lord, because they don't know what they're doing. And I'm going to release you. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on with my life. You're not going to keep me bondage in religion. You're not going to keep me tied to you because of your religious spirit. I know I have relationship. And when you have a relationship, your spirit is going to tell you, alert, run, toxic, run. Your spirit's going to tell you that. Not what they're saying. Not what they're saying. Not what they're trying to project and make you feel bad. No. No, that's not what we're going to do over here. And I was bound. Yes, abort. Abort mission. You're not going to keep me bound. You're not going to keep me hostage. You're not going to say how I should be. No, how you should be is you shouldn't be the way you are. Don't tell me how to live my life and walk my life, because I'm still in the process. This is a journey. You're not going to hold me hostage. You're not going to make me feel bad because I cut you off. Right? You're not going to make me feel bad. And people want to create this, you got to love your enemies. You got to love. Oh, you do. Oh, I believe every word it says. You do. But I'm going to love you from over there. I'm going to love you from over there. And I'm going to dispel this lie right here. I'm going to dispel this lie. This love your enemy as yourself, but it's still going to be God's word. How could you love a toxic person who's out to kill, steal, and destroy you? How can you love them when you don't love yourself? How can you love them? And this is love. When you love yourself, there is no way you would allow a person like that, a toxic person in your life, to come up against you, to destroy you, to do all those things they're doing to you if you love yourself. If you loved you wouldn't allow them to manipulate you. So you can't love them until you love yourself. You got to follow the commandment in order, right? You follow that commandment in order. And I'm not here to preach. I'm not here to make this out of I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to do that. That's not what I'm here to do. Because I believe the word. I believe what it's saying. I'm still learning, but I believe the word. But you can't love yourself. You can't love your neighbor if you don't love you. A person degrading you, talking down to you, manipulating you, right? Lying on you. That's not a form of love. You don't love yourself if you allow that. You don't love yourself. And I'm sorry that I'm getting passionate about this. No, I'm not yelling. I'm just getting passionate. You don't love you if you let a person come into your life and destroy your relationships. They're destroying your character. They're lying on you. And you're still trying to run behind them and make that relationship right. That's not love. You don't love yourself, sister. That's not love. Yes, being sneaky and manipulative around you, that is not love. You can't love them until you do right by you. And what loves look like is love is patient. Yes, love is kind. Love is all those things in that word. What word is that, y'all? Is it Corinthians? But you got to be that to yourself first. And when you become that to yourself, it is easier to be patient, loving, and kind with someone else. When you do that for yourself first. Yes. Yes, pull that beam out of our own eye first. And that's love. When you love yourself, you can pull the beam out. That's what I had to do. You work out your own salvation. And that's self-love when you're working out your own salvation. When I pulled that beam out of my eye, that big beam that was sitting here, you know, I pulled that beam out. It was a beam sitting right here. Matter of fact, it was two. It was one in this eye and one in that eye. I couldn't see at all, right? I couldn't see at all. It was just two beams just sitting there. That's why I allowed people to do me the way they did me. That's why I allowed toxic relationships to go on for years in my life, because I had these beams just sitting here. And look, I got a beam. I'm trying to peek out the beam. You know, they sitting heavy right here. I'm like, oh, can I see? No. No, you need to move all of that. And when I move all of the beams, them beams that was sitting heavy, the one that was like, bam, you know, the other one like, bam, and I'm trying to peek, you know, trying to get myself together. I'm trying to peek out the beam. No, once I moved all of that, once I moved them beams, oh, it was time to clean house. It was time to clean house, right? Yes, them rose-colored glasses, how I wanted it to be. You know, I had all these fantasies too. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I had all these fantasies of how I wanted my life to be, of how I wanted people to be in my life. And I created this fantasy in my head. And these people was toxic from the jump. And you know why they were toxic from the jump? Because I was toxic in my soul from the jump. We're going to call it out. Oh, we're going to be honest on this live right here. Hopefully I can upload it once I'm done. Oh, we're going to call it out. I was toxic from the jump. I didn't deal with my own issues. I had my own issues. You know, I wasn't dealing with my stuff. Oh, that's how I attracted that toxicity. Because I was like that inward. On the outside, I wanted to be, you know, I was myself, bubbly, you know, bubbly, right? I was outside. But on the inside, them beams had to be removed. Oh boy, once I removed them beams, it was up from there. Now, I'm not tolerating people. I'm not going to tolerate you just to go along. I'm not going to go along to get along. No, if you toxic, bye. If you toxic, go ahead on over there. You don't have to be in my life. Yes, it's healing season. Yes. You know, and I had I have a self-healing masterclass that I held, and I'm not just trying to drop this to sell, but in that self-healing masterclass, that's what I talked about. It'll be available. I talked about all those things. How I got over not caring about what people think, right? Excuse me. How I got over these things. You know, and when it was a journey. And the reason I came to YouTube, because I don't want people's journey to take the time that I took. It took a long time. A long time. Because I had to do the work in me first. I had to move them beams, you know, that beam that was there. And that other beam, bam, I had to move it. Boop, I had to move it. I had to break it off little bit by little bit. And it started with dealing with me. That's why this channel called Responsibility. Responsibility means that I'm taking responsibility for myself. I can't worry about how you're going to feel because I'm healing. I can't worry about how you feel because I'm getting whole and I'm healing. I can't worry about that. I can't worry about now that I'm healed and whole and I'm going to tell you how I feel. I can't worry about how you're going to feel. My job now is to worry about what I'm feeling. And that's not selfish at all. That's not selfish. What's selfish is you allowing people to come into your life and make you miserable. That is selfish. That is a very selfish act. You allowing people to sit in your life and make you miserable, and you don't say nothing. You don't say nothing. You sit there and tolerate people, knowing them people don't like you. You know them people feel a certain way about you. You know they don't like you. You know they're sitting around talking about you. You know this. But because you got them beams over there, you got that beam and you trying to peek out. Like I did. Going along to get along. Don't wanna rock the boat. You don't want to make people feel bad because you are rejected. You got a spirit of rejection, how I did, that I had to deal with. When you got that spirit of rejection on you, you feel like you don't want to make other people feel bad how you feel. No, you need to heal that, sis. We're going to heal that. You're going to come here and get healed. We healing that spirit of rejection today. Today, we're going to heal that. You're going to get rid of that. It's time for you to be free from everybody else's opinions and what they want and what they like. You can't even do what God calling you to do because of toxicity. You're bonded and bound to relationships you should have been got out of. You should have been left. My son coming peeking, looking for me. You should have been got out of that relationship. You should have been cutting them people off. You should have been had that conversation. You know them people don't like you like that. You know that. But you go around, you take your good dish. You take your good dish to the gathering. They'll eat your food. They'll eat your food. They'll take the gifts from you and still don't like you. They'll take your money, your gifts, your kindness, your motivation, your love. Oh, they'll take it. They'll take it. Oh, they'll take it. They'll take being around you because what you represent to them, because you make them look good. Oh, they'll take that. They'll take that clout. They'll clout chase. Use your name. You connected to me. They'll do that. But they hate your guts. They hate you. They want you to fail. Inwardly, they're cursing what you're trying to do. In their hearts, they cursing everything you're trying to do. Everything you stand for, they're cursing it. That's why we need discernment. You taking your favorite dish. You taking them good old Swedish meatballs that you made from scratch over there. You taking all that. No, I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep this season. I'm keeping my meatballs. You can have the gathering without me. I'm keeping my Swedish meatballs. I'm gonna keep my good mac and cheese. I'm gonna keep my mac and cheese this year. This year is time to work on you. This year is time to do your healing. In the masterclass that I had, it'll benefit so many people because I go into details of what I had to overcome. Man, I was bound. I had shackles on my mind. I had straight up shackles on my mind because I wasn't dealing with what was going on in me. Oh boy, when I broke free, whoo, when I tell you when I broke free, it didn't matter who wanted to be around me because that was my problem. My problem was I was afraid to speak my truth, and I was afraid to be who God wanted me to be and who I saw myself be. I was afraid of becoming the divine Monique. I was afraid of that because I saw when I became divine, I saw every person leaving my life that was connected to my life. I saw that in the spirit. And some of you are afraid. You see it too because you're a seer. You can see it. You can see that. You can see it. You know who's going to leave you. You know who's going to get mad at you. You know who's going to betray you. Oh, you know, you can see it. You can see it. You can see it. You can see it. But once I broke free, once them chains, let me tell you how I felt. Let me tell you spiritually how I felt. I felt enslaved in my mind. That's how I felt. I felt enslaved to the opinions of people. I felt enslaved to the opinions of people. I felt enslaved to conflict. Like I felt enslaved to not speaking my opinion. Oh, that thing. Ooh, it was When I tell you, I'm being honest. You know, when I come here, I be honest. I don't sit here and talk about what somebody did to me. I'm a victim. I don't have that mindset. I'm being honest. I'm telling you what I had to do. The work that I had to do. The work that we run from. I had to do it. It was time. It was time. I was tired of running. I was tired of running. I was tired of people doing me any kind of way when I know I got a pure and genuine heart. Doreen, I had the master class, but I'ma still have the I have the recording. Oh, I still have that. You know, and before I did my master class, let me tell you how the enemy works. I was supposed to promote my master class, and I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was supposed to promote this master class because I feel like I know I have a gift and I know I can help people. Of course, I can't help everyone, like just, you know, the YouTube channels I could give for free, right? The videos, and I give a lot of information here. If you want the healing, come to these channels, you can get it if you want it. But if you need more hands-on, more experience, more detailed, I have to, you know, I had to create this class. But let me tell you what happened before the master class. I was supposed to promote this master class for like 2 weeks to get the word out. Don't you know? And I'm gonna say this because I'm released to say it. Usually I wouldn't say anything like this, but this is going to help somebody because I can feel it in my spirit. Don't you know I lost my voice? My voice went away. I was hoarse, what they call hoarse, for the time I was supposed to promote my class. I was hoarse for that time. But guess what? I said, I don't care what happened. I don't care who comes. I don't care if nobody show up during the master class. Guess what I was going to do? Because by then my voice was, you know, healed enough to do the master class. Guess what I said I was going to do? I said, yes, it was an attack. I know it. You need me, son? What do you need? I'll read it. Don't say anything. I'll read it because I'm doing the video. And I'll let you know, okay? What I said was, guess what? That was my son. I'm sorry. I said, and I'll let you know. I'll upload it, Sheila. I'll make sure it's not a live class anymore. It's a recorded class. But I will share the link, right? I will share the link for you, right? Let me see. Where he gonna run in the house? He brought me a note out here. I'm sorry, that was my son. But I said that if no one shows up, I'm still going to do this class. I'm still going to record it because I know that this class is going to help many people because I didn't hold anything back. In that class, I didn't hold anything back. You know how some people come online and they talk about this, that, and the other as if they got there by themselves? No, I talked about my spiritual experience. I shared my spiritual journey. Oh, I wasn't going to leave that out. I told the Lord, listen, when I do this class and any other class, I'm not going to leave out the part that got me to where I am. How can you leave out the spiritual piece as if I got here on my own? Oh, the devil is a lie. I would not take credit for where I am. Yes, I had to do work, but I didn't get here by myself. But that's what I said. I said, if no one comes, I'm still going to dress up and show up and give my best. And that's what I did. And that's what I did. For my first master class, I can say that it went well. And that the Lord delivered what needed to be delivered. It went well. But enough of that. I'm not going to talk about that class. Keep talking about that. But what was I talking about? My son came out and distracted me. But we have to, the birds, right? I'm outside in my car. Exactly. We have to do the work on us. Yes, that's what I was. We have to do the work on us. This channel you're watching. Oh, this channel was birthed out of that pain. This responsibility channel was birthed out of that pain. God been calling me online, but you know what? I was so stuck on me. I was stuck on me and what I wanted, how I looked, what people. No, Lord say no. We don't do that. I wanted to tell God, get somebody else to do it. No, we're not going to do that, he said. And if you don't be obedient to me, I will get somebody else to do it. I will get somebody else to do the same thing I'm telling you to do. And I'm like, no, Lord, no, we're not going to do that over here, because I went through too much pain. I went through too much pain to let this go unheard. I went through too much not to help someone else. I went through too much. You can go ahead, take your phone. Okay, make sure it's on. My son wants to go to his friend's house. I went through too much for me not to use what I went through. Okay. He was telling me I had to unlock his phone. I went through too much, right? And I'm gonna have to get off here in a minute anyways, because I have to unlock his phone. He's going to his friend's house. I went through too much for me to waste that pain. Oh, in my video, one of my videos, I said I'm gonna make my pain pay. The HE double hockey stick I went through, I'm gonna make it pay. Oh, it's gonna pay. I'm gonna help somebody. Somebody gonna get their breakthrough. I know that's right. Somebody gonna get their breakthrough. Somebody gonna be free. You won't be sitting there in bondage and chains with two beams in your eye. You're not gonna do that over here on this channel. We gonna take responsibility and see how we can take them steps, right? See how we can look at ourselves and get out of this bondage. Okay, stuck, broke, busted, and disgusted, and can't be trusted. He loved you traveling around the same wall 20 and 30 years. He liked that. That's how he beat you down. He beat you down because you stuck. You done been around that wall 20 times. You done been around that wall 20 times. You started going around that wall when you were 20 and you 55 now. I don't know if this is something for somebody. That's just the number he put in me. You 55 and you still going around that same wall. And we're going to break free today, because it's time to look at us. We got to look at us. We have to look at us. We have to look at what we got going on inside of us, because you get to control what goes on the outside when you deal with the inside. When you deal with the inside of you, that's how I broke free. When you deal with what's going on in the inside, whatever happened in your child, whatever happened when you was in your little teen relationship with your little boyfriend, whatever happened then, it's time for you to deal with that. It's time for you to move forward. We will not be stuck. You have no excuse to stay stuck in 2023. Too much information out there on YouTube. It's too many articles out there. It's too many people teaching biblical principles. It's too many people coaching. Too many people are therapists. Too many people. It's too much for you to sit in your pain. You don't have an excuse. I'm here to dispel that lie. You don't have an excuse. It's time for you to wiggle. You wiggle on in that pool, just like the man by the pool side. I mentioned this before. He stayed there lame all them years, 38 years. Your 38 years is up, because I'm somebody coming to push you in that water. You finna go get your healing. You gonna cross over there today, because you got the information. You listening to this live is your confirmation that you got to look at you now. It's time for you to look at you. You got what it takes to look at you. You don't want to, and it's going to be ugly. Oh, God knows it's going to be ugly. I did the ugly cry when I looked at myself. I slid down that wall like my girl, Latoya Kill say, I slid down that wall doing the ugly cry. I was so ugly down that wall. But when I got up, it was time to fight. It was time for war when I got up. Oh, I stayed down and I cried, and I sat in my tears for a little bit. I did. I sat in my tears. But it's time to take that ugly cry face off, and it's time to fight. It's time to fight to be free. It's time to fight for your freedom. This for you, Sheila. If I called that number, this your word, girl. It's time to fight for your freedom. And I got chills saying this. It's time to fight. We don't stay shackled long enough. I've been shackled. I've been held back. It's time to break free. Allowing people to control and manipulate me, my emotions all over the place. Allowing people to say whatever, do whatever in my life, use and abuse me, treat me like I'm not supposed to be treated right. Talk to me any type of way. That had to stop. And it stopped in 2020. 2020. It started in 2019. That's when it started, when I was really breaking free. I've been on the journey for 20 years. But it's not going to take you 20 years. It's not going to take you 20 years. The 20 years I had to go through is not going to take you that long. You keep listening to these videos, or even if you get that masterclass, you're going to see how quick it's going to take you. It's not going to take you 20 years like it took me 20 years. It's not going to take you there because you're going to have the information, but you're going to have to do the work. There will be no more excuses. You have the information now. You have heard this information. You have no excuse to not fight. You have no excuse not to get up and be suited and booted. You have no excuse. If I did it, you can do it. If I'm doing it, you gonna be able to do it. You have to believe you can be free. Oh, I discussed all this in that masterclass. And I told God to use me. Don't let this be about me and what I want. When I talk, you don't hear about me, unless I'm telling the story. Unless I'm telling what I've gone through and how I got over. It's not about, oh, I'm me. Oh, this is me. And it's me. No. I know it's not about me. And people often tell me, and I heard Eric Thomas say this, and he's right. When people say you humble, and the people always say, I like your spirit, I like your approach, I like how you do things. When people tell me that, I don't let that get to my head. I don't let it get to my head. You know I don't let it get to my head. I don't let the praises of men get to my head. Because the praises of men, they'll do you like they did Jesus. They'll praise you 1 minute and crucify you the next. So you can't let that get to your head. Don't let what you doing, don't let what you doing be so glorified that you forget about where you came from. Right? And what I mean where you came from, when people tell me, oh, I like this, I like that. Oh, no. What I remember is how broken I was, how I was broken, and how Lord had to break me to get me where I am. I think about my broken state. Oh, they were like, oh, you so humble, you this, you that. You best believe I was broken. I was broken to be where I am. Oh, I was broken. They say you got to be broken. That's how the light get in. Oh, I was broken. I was humbled. You best believe I was humbled. So I never look at anyone's situation as if my situation or as if I'm better. Because when I look, I take these glasses off, and when I look down, and see I was in the mud and see how broken I was. I'd never be able to have that haughty, high and mighty attitude, right? Attitude. I never had that because I know where I came from. I know how broken I was. That's what keeps me humble. My brokenness keeps me humble. But I'm going to speak the truth. My approach may come off as a little, some people say, that a person is yelling or, they're upset. No, sometimes when you're passionate, you're going to come off as if you're yelling, or